This is the start of the Moe-Yallourn Rail Trail, and it goes along there. There's the rail bridge over that way, and you walk all the way out to the power station. And it's just so magic here. It's a beautiful day, so much greenery out here. So I thought it might be a good spot to continue the reading of the book, Get the Cheese, Let the Other Mouse Go First. So I'm going to have a seat here and enjoy the rest of the story. Well, the next part of the story, not the whole lot. There is nothing neither good or bad, but thinking makes it so. William Shakespeare. Why read this memoir? Asked Karli the quokka. Since the dawn of our existence, well, our thinking existence, we've been curious. We've had an inherent need to understand, to grow, and to find meaning. Life is a symphony. The chords of motivation push you forward. You dream big. You want more. Your passions fuel your desires. It's not always a smooth road. Doubts, challenging beliefs, and questioning your worthiness can plague you. This could be minor bumps in the road or massive, locked and fortified steel gates blocking your path. Yet, what if those negative obstructions were actually your greatest source of inspiration? Is it only a matter of perspective? Could internal and external conflict end with a deeper understanding? One that questions holding onto your prejudices. Take the title of this book, Get the Cheese, Let the Other Mouse Go First. Does it mean strategic patience, learning from others' mistakes, and being innovative? Or does it mean opportunism, lack of initiative, and over-caution? Our evolutionary survival has often hinged on identifying something as good or bad. Tasty, nutritious berries evoke a different response than a saber-toothed tiger. No, here kitty kitty was uttered back then. As we evolved, the ability to organize vast amounts of information served us well. We made decisions faster. Simplifying the process of categorizing information gave us a greater chance of survival. We developed a broader thinking capacity. We wondered why we were here and what the purpose and meaning of life is. Finding purpose helps you feel significant. It keeps you from feeling lost in a chaos of randomness. Moral and ethical frameworks came next. These help guide your behavior. Fostering shared values gives you a sense of belonging and identity. Control and predictability came from categorizing events and actions into understandable frameworks. Do A and you get a kiss on the cheek. Do B and your backside feels the sensation of a stinging slap. Plus, shared beliefs about right and wrong enrich unity, trust, and direction. This promotes cooperation and reduces conflict. Throughout history, stories have imparted life's lessons. Stories connect you and provide understanding, often tempered with emotional resonance. Their entertainment provides you with a temporary escape from mundaneness and stress. The lessons from stories help you make sense of the world. They provide inspiration and motivation. Plus, they give you an opportunity to reflect and grow. The stories that follow aim to encourage questions. Are those things that discourage you actually holding you back? Instead, could they be the very key to your most profound growth? Get the Cheese, Let the Other Mouse Go First is an invitation to experience the world from a unique perspective, to challenge what you know is motivation, to look beyond what you think your world is, to open up other possibilities that may propel you faster to that big dream and the more of what you want. Chuckle, ponder, question, and grow as you turn the pages. Be open to new possibilities in life and business. The things you thought held you back may actually be the rockets that propel you forward. This is your reward for showing up, for investing the time. Be open to a world where demotivation can be your best form of motivation. So why are you reading this memoir? That's up to you. What do you choose? This is the awareness that Karli had on a hot summer day on Rottnest Island. Your takeaway? Choose what you're reading this book for before you continue reading. You'll have a greater chance of achieving that outcome. Take a moment to reflect on that. Let it sink in. Then, when you're ready, come and meet Karli. Were the teenagers good or bad? "Cowabunga!" yelled Karli as she jumped high and placed her bright orange dune board beneath her feet. Mid-flight, the breeze tousled her thick brown fur. A huge grin forms on Karli's face. She screams, "Bayushka!" and lands in the soft white sand at the top of the Rottnest Island dune. She leans left, causing the board to kick out a huge plume of white sand in her wake. Tucking in, Karli starts straight down the deepest part of the dune. She twirls her arms, mimicking Michelangelo spinning his nunchucks. Michelangelo is her favourite teenage mutant ninja turtle. She connected with his fun-loving free spirit. Karli surged forward at breakneck speed. She calls out, "If there are two things I love, it's dune surfing and, well, what's the other thing?" In an emulation of one of Michelangelo's quotes. Reaching the apex of acceleration and speed, now it's time for the real fun. Shifting her weight left and right, Karli carves out perfect arcs in the side of the dune. Her knees bend, her tail acts as a rudder, and she leans into each turn. The wind rushes past, pushing her hair back in frenzied excitement. Nearing the base of the dune, the momentum of Karli's descent builds. Walls of sand spray behind her like a jet stream. It's time for the grand finale. One last turn, she adjusts her stance to maximize her grip. "It's air ninja time," she calls out. She digs the nose of her dune board into the sand, leveraging her body weight with precision. The tip of her board burrows deep. A cascade of white sand rises like a rogue wave in front of her. Momentum and the laws of physics shoot Karli high into the air. The bright sun silhouettes her against a wall of sand. It's a perfect backdrop for her McTwist, followed by a rodeo as she soars over the Rottnest Island beach. Flips complete, the dizzying blur of blue skies and white sand comes back into focus. The horizon reorientates itself. With acrobatic precision, Karli lands on her legs. Her hindpaws make contact and soft puffs of sand erupt as her hindpaws sink in. Her knees coil, absorbing the impact. She stands tall, basking in the thrill of the spectacle and the climax yet to come. An orangish glint catches the vibrant sun's rays. Karli's dune board, still airborne, is hurtling headlong towards her. A trail of quicksilver shadows follows across the dune. The board's polished orange surface leads to a misty slipstream of white sand. It's like a comet's tail tracing beach stardust. With calculated coolness, Karli steps aside. One paw comes up in unison. The board's top left rail lands mid-paw, ruffling her fur with sheer kinetic force. Karli pirouettes, allowing the board's momentum to carry her around. Mimicking an expert flamenco dancer, she pushes off with one paw and pivots on the ball of the other. Her dune board twirled like a colourful flamenco dress. She paints a fiery orange blaze across the sky. Completing a 360 with precision, Karli spins the dune board high in the air. She then plants its heel into the white sand next to her, creating a mini dune of its own. Jubilant, she leans against her board. Karli's whiskers twitched in excitement and triumphant satisfaction, as if she's waiting for a thunderous applause. Of course, she knows the cheers of rapture won't come. There's not a soul in sight. "Radical, dude," she utters in satisfaction. The applause resonated from within. Karli's chest swelled with pride, not for an audience but for herself. In her mind, Karli was more than a quokka. She was a superstar, basking in her own glory. Every part of her existence was a testament to the awesomeness because, well, she was alive. Karli picked up her dune board and headed back to her spot. The West Australian sun brought tiny beads of sweat to her forehead. This little cove was her sanctuary, a place where she could ponder, reflect, and enjoy peace and quiet, away from the tourist bustle that frequented so many parts of the island. Shaking the sand from her green and orange beach towel, she spread it out over the soft sand. As she lays down, Karli feels the comforting embrace of the warm sand. Under her, it molds to her body's contours. She glances at the gentle waves. She slips on her sunglasses and lays back, enjoying the light breeze passing over her fur. Pure bliss, she thinks. Her thoughts ruminate about her awesome life and adventures to come. It was tranquil for a few moments. Then her ears twitched. She was no longer alone. Someone was running along the beach. She recognized it wasn't her beach, and passers-by came from time to time. She considered putting up "Sharks don't swim" signs, but thought better of it. Whoever it was would be gone soon. She kept her eyes closed to avoid drawing attention to herself. There was a thud next to her, and sand kicked up over her body. Sitting up with an annoyed start and brushing sand from her fur, Karli saw two teenagers kneeling beside her. "That was so awesome," said one. "Totally out there. That was the coolest," added the other. "We've got to get a selfie with you for our chatbook page," chimed the first. She felt annoyed and a little fearful from the shock of two teens landing right next to her. A Jungian dark shadow washes over Karli. Her face goes stiff, her eyes squint, projecting a menacing glare. In her mind, she hears the shadow's voice. "They didn't even ask for a selfie. They're disturbing my time. Tell them to rack off." The sun from the beautiful, gleaming West Australian day tempered the shadow. Karli took a few breaths. Her tension eased. The shadow faded, letting the light filter through. "They're excited and happy. You inspired them. And it's pretty cool," the light whispered. Her face relaxed, and a smile lit up her lips. "Of course. Would love to. Would that be with or without extra crunch?" Karli teased, as she brushed the last remnants of sand from her fur. As she said crunch. A tad embarrassed, the teens realised their blunder. Sorry about that," they both blushed. "Don't stress," Karli winked, noticing that they got the point. She stood up with the two teens on either side, and they snapped away as Karli gave a victory sign. Excited, the teens thanked her. Then they headed back from where they came, chattering away. Soon the only sound was the gentle ripple of water. Karli sat on her towel, watching the teens well into the distance. Still excited, looking at their phones and gesturing to each other. The Jungian shadow hadn't completely faded and remained present in her mind. The shadow scenario played out in her mind. "No, you can't have a photo. Get out of here and leave me alone," Karli visualized, snapping at the teenagers. "Geez, must be the time of the month," one smirked to the other. "Yeah, what a stuck-up cow," replied the other, as though Karli wasn't there. "How dare you," yelled Karli. "You hear something?" said the first teen to the second. "Think the wind stirred up some white trash left on the beach," replied the second. "Best to leave it here to rot." The teens turned and walked back the way they came. They raised 4 index fingers high above their heads, pointed in Karli's direction. It was only a reflection in her mind, but Karli felt the full weight of the horrible, imagined interaction in her chest. She pondered the real and the imagined events. The teens had jumped down next to her. Was she startled? Sure. But she had no way of knowing their intentions without interacting with them. It was her perception and her reaction that coloured how the events unfolded. Taking a deep breath, Karli drew in the fresh ocean air, then let out a gentle sigh and smiled. She basked in the warmth of the sun's rays as it beat down on the colourful beach. The teenagers were no longer visible. They would have headed back to Frankie's. That's where the cool kids hung out today. She laid back down and pulled her sunglasses back over her eyes. She felt lucky. Her life was awesome because her perception of events shaped it that way. And she could choose how she perceived events. Soon the interaction between the teenagers drifted from her mind, replaced by the soft ripple of the water on sand and dreams of her next dune surf.